Welcome, 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 welcome. Listen, it is 2025, and I want to say thank you all so much for being with me for 2024 when I started doing Who2Watch Sports. Just to say Happy New Year to all of you, and moving forward where we on Who2Watch Sports we cover different sports categories, of course. But right now, this particular one is just a brief announcement, a brief checking in on the getting ready for the championship for today. That's going to occur between um, four teams who are going to be advancing to go uh, to the Super Bowl. So, um, well, we're going to know what teams are going to be going to the Super Bowl, what those two teams will be rather that's going to the Super Bowl. And so, what I want to do is, first of all, I wanted to say that Who to Watch Sports was designed for those of you who are new, and we're going to have some more information for you this year than we did last year. But Who to Watch Sports is really to be able to look at who is to watch, who's to watch, the teams who to watch, coaches who to watch. Really, I really more focus on teams, the players, and Who to Watch was really designed to give more attention to those particular positions, i.e., let's say in the NFL or in college. Sports where we look at more about the linemen. They don't get a lot of press on offensive, defensive linemen, the punters, the kickers, your special teams, some of those. We also covered some of the others, but for the most part, Who to Watch is to really put a spotlight on players. Those players that are really, really doing a lot and making a difference and against all odds. As you know, if I threw out college, we had Charlotte Sanders. We had Travis Hunter from college. I'll go back into that. We had Ward in Miami. We had um, Notre Dame that ended up being in the championship this year, even though we had Ohio State who won. We had all these teams, and so we kind of want to pull out some of those players that were major players. Also, I go back and I do a lot of history, statistically to see who's who. So let me just say this: I'm going to do a quick commercial about the games today. But do you know that Jaden Daniels can be make history because no rookie, I looked it up, no rookie quarterback has ever gone to the Super Bowl. So if he wins, if the Commanders get past, um, they will be able to, if the Commanders get past, they will be able to actually say that Jaden Daniels will make history by being the first rookie quarterback to ever play in a Super Bowl. But he also will be added to a list of accomplishments where we have, I looked it up, and there are five players prior to him. He will make six that are now that he's going into this round, he will be the sixth quarterback to be a part of a championship game. So there are five before him, but he will be number six. So if he does advance to the Super Bowl, then he will be he would do a lot. He would make history on that front. Also, we know that the history will be made if the of course if the Kansas City Chiefs are advanced to the Super Bowl and they win, they were actually what they were saying when they won last year would be the three-peat. So this is why this is Who to Watch. This is who to watch the players, who to watch those teams, who to watch those players that are making a lot of attention or doing a lot of great things as the season goes through. And I want to say this: I'm not really I'm new to this, but I'm very impressed with what I'm seeing, and I'm very impressed with the statistics and the all the different records out there that can be broken and or made in the NFL that hasn't been made. Like for instance, you'll hear me say this all the time. Miami Dolphins, they're the only one that's holding a 50 years where they've never. Maybe this is something Kansas City would try to do, but they have never gone. No other team has ever gone without any losses and won the Super Bowl. All this and beat the Miami Dolphins from 50 years ago. I'm still waiting to see what team is going to do that. I can't believe that hasn't happened yet. And even though they're playing more games, I still can't believe that hasn't happened yet. But I want to give a shout out to, well, I want to say this. I believe that today, the four teams that are playing, this is going to be like a mini Super Bowl for real. I believe the Philadelphia Eagles and the Commanders, that's going to be like a Super Bowl game. And I don't mean like a Super Bowl game like they just playing Super Bowl. I mean, I believe that the intensity by which these teams are going to be playing is going to be major. Also, the same thing for the Kansas City Chiefs and the Buffalo Bills. I think that's going to be a major like Super Bowl right there. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens as these games play out. But I believe with all the stakes on the line, I believe that we're going to see who to watch. There's going to be a lot of who to watch in these games. We also, I also want to give out shout out to the divisional round bracket, which included the Chiefs with the Texans, and of course they defeated the Texans. So I want to give out to Stroud and the Texans coach and that team. They did a very good job. I've been watching Stroud. I really believe he's one who to watch. I don't know why. There's something about him that's unique, and I believe that he's really gonna have a very, very successful career. Also, we have the Bills and the Ravens. Same thing. Lamar Jackson, just totally different, totally new. Has his own. That team just has their own personality that is really, really um, moving in a way that I think is really, really great. Also, of course, I also want to give out a shout out to the Lions. Now, let me say this. Let me go back. Okay, so let me stop after I do the Lions. The Lions, I was very excited for them. And let me tell you why I was excited for the Lions and the Texans. Because if the Lions and the Texans had been in the Super Bowl, they would have both been the first two teams left in the NFL. There are some others, four others, but there are two others. But there are two, the Texans and the Lions are two of four teams that have never attended a Super Bowl. So if the Texans, excuse me, the Lions had made it to the Super Bowl, they would have had history on their own because they both would have been there for the first time. Secondly, the right, and so I was rooting for because I know the Cleveland Browns, yes, the Texans and the Jackson Jaguars, they have not been as well. So I wanted to definitely be able to shout out to the Texans and to the Ravens and to the Lions. You gave us a great um, playing games, and then also the Rams. The Rams, of course, they've been, but it still was it was a good, it was the Rams are played well this season as well to be even at this point because I don't think they were deemed to be there, but they were number four. Eagles were number two. The Commanders were number six, and the Lions were number one. So that was very interesting. The Bills were number two. The Ravens were number three, and then the Chiefs were number four, and the Chiefs, I'm sorry, was number one, and the Texans number four. So, those divisional rounds were exciting. So the Texans, Ravens, Lions, Rams, and let me just say this for all the NFL teams, great season. But for Ravens, Texans, Lions, and Rams, congratulations to you for even getting to the divisional round. Now here we go. We got four teams today, and only two are going to be advancing to the Super Bowl. So I'm not going to say that's why I have on gray. I don't have any colors of anyone in particular or whatever. I just want it to be, it's a gray area for me because for me, doing this show, I don't show any, uh, you know, special favors or special interest towards any one team because I don't think it's fair. If you're going to commentate, you commentate on, if I'm going to commentate rather, on who to watch, I want to commentate, just watch the game. Just watch the game and have fun. I think it's going to be great games. I really don't expect blowouts. I'll be surprised if it is, but I think they're going to be close, and I think they're going to be very good. And we'll see who's going to be advancing in 2 weeks to go to New Orleans to the Super Bowl. So enjoy the game, stay safe, and have a good time watching. We want everyone to be safe. Pray for all the players and them seeing being safe and everything. A good game, and hopefully everyone will excuse me, hopefully everyone will enjoy seeing their team, or seeing the advancement of these teams as they get on board to go forth and do what hasn't been done. This is a whole new year. So, as my sister said to me, when you get into the playoffs, forget that you don't even look at the schedule anymore. What you did getting up to the play, it's like you start all over again, and you have to really just prove yourself. So today we will see who's that going to be and who's going to get there, and how well the games are going to be played. And I hope it's a good game, and good games rather, and even whoever may not make it, just for the mere fact, excuse me, that they got to this point is just really amazing and exciting. And you can still pat yourself on the back for the fact that out of all the teams, you're the one that we're going to be looking at, the final four, as I call it, like they do in basketball. So we'll be talking more about who to watch. I know there's a lot about the draft. I'm going to be covering that draft for the NFL and the players and the teams, and I'm going to be covering the team, some of the positions on the teams that I wanted to look at this year, and who some of the players I want to spotlight based on Who2Watch Sports. And then I'll tell you about my challenge. Come back and look. I have a challenge for Tom Brady. I have a challenge for him. After I watched the Heisman Award thing, I'm like, okay, just give you a snippet. Tom Brady need to have an award that he can put out that would go for the defensive and what's not for the Heisman. The Heisman is uh, for the offense mostly. That's what everyone's been telling me. I was like, but there's more than one player. There's more than offense on the field. So I want the lineman, the defensive lineman. Do you know that no lineman has ever, offensive or defensive, have ever for college has ever won a Heisman? Well, okay. So if you are going to keep that Heisman for the offensive, fine, you do that. So then I won an award for the all the other players that play, and I wanted to get the same kind of hype. And I feel if Mr. Brady could create one, whatever he names it, Brady Award, whatever. Maybe Brady and Bill Belichick could get together and do the award. I don't know, but Brady, I have Brady. That's what came to mind. Brady do an award that goes, and the reason why it would be good for him as a GOAT, because as a quarterback, he knows both sides, and so it would be awesome for him if he came up with an award that he wanted to give out under his name now, um, and be able to direct that award towards the defensive, the offensive lineman, the inclusive. Give them something. Now, someone said to me that there are awards out there, but I don't. I haven't seen any awards since I've come a newcomer to this athleticism of the NFL system and the college system that basically looks at the defensive lineman. I did my homework. There is no lineman. So there may be a word out there, but it doesn't get all the hype as a Heisman. I want Brady to create something that is on the. If he doesn't do it under his name, he may not. But if he gets with the team and they develop something that gets the same kind of hype as a Heisman, that for some other of those positions on for those college young men on the lineman, fine. And even another award that maybe could be developed and created. It may have to be Brady. This may be some of the coaches. It may be Belichick. It may be, some of the coaches get together, that get together and do a award for the NFL for those, and it gets the same kind of hype. Like, this is a major award to get. I just think that the other positions are left out. The safeties are left out. The running back, well, some of the running backs, but not many, because I looked at my history and there's not many running backs. Basically, it's just mainly the quarterback. So if you're going to give them, I'm going back to the Heisman now. I'm sorry, I'm jumping. If you're going to go back to the Heisman and that's what you're going to do, I think it's fair to have something. And this is just me from the outside looking in. Do not know that I'm new to this, but this is just what I'm sensing that should be across the board, because they're two. You got an offense and a defense on the field. So make it. So come on, let's give some hype to those other, all those other players that have an opportunity to have that same type of hype, so that when they win that award, they too are in the high in the draft. That's what I want to see. The third thing I want to see is I do not want to see these guys who are in the draft, who are getting drafted, have to go to these teams who are not winning. Even though Jaden Daniels now is getting ready to set the precedent, because now he's coming in and he's taking the team all the way where he's done. So I can understand that if you can get that. But at the same time, you may not always get that. So I would like to see, who's the best offensive lineman, who's the best defensive lineman that can, kind of interfere with the offense or interfere with the defense which really I think Travis Hunter is going to come in and do that part, but um, as his position, but on the defensive side. But then we got a defensive lineman. I've had an opportunity to meet a couple of them, and I just think it's a great position. I think that we need to kind of spread some of that prominence that I see in the industry. Now, see, they're probably like, "Who is she and what is she talking about?" But anyway, that's just me. I want to put it like that. I definitely want to challenge Brady for that. I want to change Brady to do that and have an award as the GOAT that he would like to see awarded to whoever, and that get just as much promise. So when these guys get ready to go to if he's going to do it on the college level, I would do it on both levels. I would have him do one for the college, and I would have him do one that maybe he'll do one with the college for himself under his name, and then maybe get with some coaches. He may have Saban. He may have since he's not in the playing field, he may have build himself a little team. Belichick, Prime, uh, those guys now that are on the college level, build some of them, and they be some of the core of developing what that those positions will be under that. And so I'm going on and on about that. I don't want to talk about that right now. We'll talk about that later. But I'm trying to get in touch with him and say, listen, I think you should do this. And I want him to do it while he's alive. I read the history about the Heisman, but I want him to do something while he's still, even though he's not playing, but he has all these accolades and he's doing it and he's really looked up to. And I believe that he could, marketing wise, really set the tone. And I think it would be even great for him setting the tone, being that he is an offensive quarterback, knowing about the Heisman and knowing about all the hype with that, but being able to give those other players an opportunity to have that same hype, but use his name because he, as a player, has played, with both sides. And so he can look for what he thinks is the offensive alignment. That would probably be good. What he thinks is a good defensive lineman, even, or maybe build a team, like I said, of supporters of other great people in the game to help him develop that. And then I want them to get the same type of endorsements, hype, all of that the Heisman gets. So I'm not trying to come against the Heisman. I respect that. It's been around since 1930 something. I understand, but it's time for us to even the playing field. So think about that and let Tom Brady know that I said that to him. I challenge him to do that. So I look forward to seeing you next week. I'm going to be doing different feeds all the way going through February up to the Super Bowl on the history. Some of the replays and who are some of the players who watched that I noticed this year for college and for the NFL as we head to that 2-week period going into the NFL. And then I've got to cover some other things I didn't cover. I'll let you know what those are. Like we just had the tennis and we're in basketball already. I usually don't cover basketball until we get right mid-season, whatever. But I'll go ahead and start looking at some of those basketball players and some of the things they're doing and some of those teams. The one thing I will talk about, and I want you all to look at this one when I do bring it on, and that is I'm going to call it staying power for the college men, for all these teams who want to jump in and out of this portal, and now they got the NIL. I have some words I want to say on that. I'll talk about that. That's a whole nother feed. But I will be who to watch here. We're going to be looking for the people who have staying power. That I want to know if you can be allegiant to what had you to build up all your numbers and everything and have staying power before you move or try to move over here, move over there. And I know that the dollar amount has come into play and all of that, but I still want to see, some staying power. Some people I think are just, moving, but I would like to see some staying power. I got to, educate myself on that a little bit more too, to know how all of the mechanics of that work. So I want to get out of here and look like I really don't know too much. But based on what I just see on surface, it's a lot of movement. And I was always trained by my parents, my grandparents. You give your word, you do your word, you do it, you work it, and you work it to the best that you can, and then everything else will come. So we'll see. I'll also put some fillers out for some other. I have some people who are, talk to me and tell me, yes, Charlene, yeah, or no, you shouldn't do that. But I'm going to definitely. I want to talk about staying power. Period. How you play it out, you work it out, you put in, everything you put in those first 2 years to build your numbers or whatever you don't start moving when it comes because you want to be, you just play it out and let it work for you so that when it's time for you to move, teams recognize the fact, hopefully, that you have staying power or you have the ability to work it out and to stay and to, finish well, finish strong. That's what I want to use. But anyway, thanks for watching. Enjoy the games today. I hope you have a game. I didn't mean to get into all that with Brady, but since I did, tell him I want him to. I challenge him, or if there are any other players out there that want to do it, if he doesn't want to do it, that I want something that definitely supports and encourages and engages the other players on the offense and the defense that are not normally considered for the Heisman, and I want them to have the same level of. I want it to be built and have the same level of prominence as well. So, on that note, looking forward to Who2Watch Sports in 2025, and and right now we're on the NFL and getting ready for the Super Bowl. Talk to you later. Take care and be able to put in your comments anything that you want to say. Be nice, no vulgar, or no profanity and all that. Be nice, but just give me. And if you want to educate me, that's fine. I'm open to receiving constructive criticism too, as well as give me encouragement. I appreciate it. Take care. Signing off now for 2025. Who2Watch Sports.